In the early Tang dynasty, a man of extraordinary intellect studied for the imperial exam. Everyone knew he was destined to serve at the emperor's side. He promised to honor his family and never forget his closest friend. He left early on exam day. His sister held her tears as he joined his friend, and they went to their tests. Imperial officers reported his outstanding results to the emperor, who immediately sent for him. The emperor considered how vast his kingdom would become. However, his dreams were shattered when the cartoonish-looking man entered. The emperor dismissed him. The man pleaded with the emperor that he couldn't control his appearance, but his intellect was unmatched. The emperor shook his head. Appearance is part of the exam. The man's heart and future were broken. His friend tried to cheer him up. He thanked his efforts and asked his friend to turn away. The man threw himself on the palace stairs and died. As the saying goes, especially with Asian stories, death is only the beginning. He was the demon-hunting god of ghosts, Zhong. And this is Legends from the Pacific. Aloha, and thank you for joining us. This is Legends from the Pacific, episode 111, The Demon Hunting God of Ghosts, Zhong. I am Kamuela Kaneshiro, a native Hawaiian professional writer, speaker, and Comic-Con panelist with extensive film and television experience. I study mythology, I've encountered unusual things, and I'm a geek. You can support us by getting 2 or 3 of your friends to listen to our show. This simple request goes a long way in helping us grow our show. Later in this episode, your featured song and Hawaiian word, but first, let me share with you the vanquisher of evil. As usual, I apologize for any mispronounced names or words and appreciate your understanding. So, I'm sure by now, you, our show's loyal fans, should have a good feel for who I am and what I'm all about. I mean, we've enjoyed over 100 episodes together. I geek out whenever I can, and I've shared some very personal things to you. So you probably know I do not condone suicide. And just for the record, if you are feeling suicidal, please seek professional help. He is known throughout Asia. Japan calls him Shoki, but in China, he is Zhong. As stated in our opening story, Zhong wasn't considered attractive. You see, he was probably obese, had a square face which Chinese didn't find ideal, large eyes, a massive mouth, and beard. Oh, and remember, unlike Western cultures who usually believe all ghosts are bad, Asian ghosts are like people. They could be good or bad. Zhong body was retrieved by his friend, Du Ping. Du Ping made the arrangements to inform Zhong family, ensured his friend had a proper service. Du Ping's confusion, anger, and mourning blended with Zhong family. Their feelings tortured Zhong spirit as it went to hell. In a grand chamber, Zhong faced the underworld's ruler, King Yama. He laughed behind a massive desk. Zhong, your suicide saved my associates the trouble of retrieving you. The fat black reaper chuckled. The tall white reaper adjusted his bleached robe's collar near a scar from a rope. Zhong bowed. Esteemed ruler, King Yama, I beg for mercy. Yama examined his scrolls. Yes, I've heard this all before. But not from me, Zhong said. Yama glanced from his scroll. Fine, continue. Lord Yama, I know I can be of great service to you. Yama returned to his scroll. Well. You were the greatest scholar our world's ever seen, and you were denied an imperial position because of your appearance. And they call us monsters. Laughing ghosts and monsters rocked hell. Zhong Kui waited. Yama silenced them. It seems we offended our newest guest. For that, I'll hear your plea, but just this once. Zhong Kui's mind whirled as he recalled everything he studied about hell, searching for a flaw, an oversight, anything he could bring to King Yama's attention that he could help fix. Screaming erupted from the corridor. A ghost burst in, charging for King Yama. The black and white reapers jumped to intercept the attack, but the ghost was knocked away. It flailed along the wall as Zhong Kui continued a relentless assault on the entity. But the scholar grew tired. The ghost snarled, chomped, and grew. Zhong Kui felt like he moved in water. Continuing his attacks made his limbs burn. The ghost quickened. Its hits were stronger. Zhong Kui saw the attacks he needed to make, but his body was too slow. The ghost's attacks were blurring. Its jaws closed on Zhong Kui's arm. He braced for teeth to pierce his flesh and snap his bone. He felt nothing. The ghost had his arm, but it was still. He pulled his arm. It came free. The ghost faced him. Zhong Kui punched it. The ghost fell like a fluttering leaf. The scholar hit it again and again. On the 8th hit, the ghost hit the ground and shrank. Zhong Kui knew the ghost wouldn't stop, and he needed to get rid of it. He grabbed the ghost and ate it. Smoke steamed from his eyes and nose, then stopped. The chamber's walls were littered with impact points and deep cracks. King Yama stood on his desk with glowing eyes. An outstretched hand's palm faced the scholar. Zhong Kui jumped back. You saved me? Indeed. The deity smiled, but not before you saved me. Zhong Kui's eyes widened. I saved you? Don't get big-headed. My reapers would have if you didn't, but you beat them to it. That was a very impressive fight. Perhaps a little longer than necessary, but that can be improved next time. Next time? Yes. For Zhong Kui, you were a scholar, but now my servant. Thunder knocked Zhong Kui down and echoed through the corridors. Arise, Hell's demon hunter, vanquisher of evil, and lord of ghosts, Zhong Kui. The black and white reaper bowed. The demon hunter returned their bow. Thank you, Lord Yama. The deity's glowing eyes faded. I knew you were the right person for this job. Thank you, Master. What is my next task? Nothing. Master? It is the new year, and we may walk among the mortal plane. Zhong Kui went home. His new deity abilities allowed him to be seen by his family, but his sister confessed to being lonely. The Ghost Lord took her with him to visit his friend Du Ping and arranged their marriage. With his friend and family at peace, the demon hunter embraced his work, protecting humans from evil and leading his army of 80,000 ghosts. Years later, the demon hunter tracked 2 ghosts. They stole a concubine's purse and jade flute. The hunter tore the spirits and ate their pieces. He approached the mortal they tormented. Beyond the wrinkled skin and aged eyes was the emperor who refused Zhong Kui. The emperor paled and trembled. Zhong Kui bit his lip, then faded away. Do you know who the Hawaiian volcano god was before Pele? Become a Legends from the Pacific Patreon member to hear this rare story, along with over 20 others, as well as some nifty benefits. So, click the link in our show notes and become a Legends from the Pacific Patreon member today. As always, a big mahalo nui loa to our current Patreon members, whose support keeps our show going. The Emperor recovered, bestowing Zhong Kui his rank in the mortal realm, and ordered his best painter to make an illustration of the demon hunter. The problem was, because of Zhong Kui's unique appearance, the painter didn't know if he was doing the illustration justice, which is understandable since he didn't want to upset the emperor. Zhong Kui learned of this and visited the painter in a dream. From this, the painter completed the illustration. Today, the original painting is considered a masterpiece which heroically portrays Zhong Kui. The painting was replicated, given to others for protection from evil, and artists have used it as a guide whenever they wished to illustrate Zhong Kui. Zhong Kui's illustrations are commonly depicted during New Year's festivals, and he is usually illustrated with Chinese symbols of good fortune. He's been in various media, and many learned of him via the old-school kung fu movies and black belt theater films, since his story perfectly fits with that action format. And people continue visiting temples to pray that Zhong Kui bless them with good fortune and protect them from evil. If you like what you heard, please give us a rating and write a review. I'd really appreciate it. Our theme song is Mystery by Tavana, courtesy of High Sessions. Sound effects are by Sound Effects Factory. Our music coordinator is Matt Duffy, aka DJ TripleBypass. Links and shows can be found on our website, legendsfromthepacific.com, including a link to your featured song, which is Lights by Brittany Paiva, courtesy of High Sessions. Legends from the Pacific was written, produced, and edited by me, Kamuela Kaneshiro. I also wrote our original stories. Your featured Hawaiian word is kaimoni. Kaimoni means demon. An example of kaimoni is, in the video game series Doom, you kill a lot of kaimoni. Once again, kaimoni is Hawaiian for demon. I tell you, playing Doom 2's deathmatch mode with friends is just a blast, even though you can't jump. Thank you once again for listening. Mahalo and a hui ho!